Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add an image to your code.org website using the weblab project. So in here, I have some text already added to my website, which I can see in the preview, and I want to add an image. So I click up here where it says add an image. Now I already have some images saved on my computer. If you don't have an image on your PC downloaded, then you need to do that first. So you need to have images on your machine, on your computer, on your tablet, whatever it is you're coding on. You need to have those saved on the device locally. So I already have that done. So I'm going to click on add an image and click on upload a file. In here, I'm going to click on pictures because this is where I store my pictures in here. And I'm going to click on this sample image that I downloaded earlier and click on open. And I see now that that says here that it has uploaded successfully. So I can just X out of it. So uploaded, successfully uploaded, so I can click X. Now just give the computer a minute and you see that something has changed. This has now become 3 files over this side, and I have this one here called sample image. So I click on it and I can see my sample image, and I can also see that I have different colors, and it picks out the main colors in it. So if I wanted to use them somewhere else on my web page, it has picked out the main colors in that image for me, which can be really handy when you're doing branding and marketing for a business. So I'm going to go back to my main page, which is my index.html. So that's where all my HTML is. I know that this is an image because it has the .jpeg extension at the end. So that's your image there. And also I called it sample image, so it's uploaded a sample image. So go back to my index. Now I have to call that image in. So I have the source. Now I need to call it into my code. And I do that by using a tag which is a little bit different to the open closing we've seen before. This one we're going to open angle bracket img. I'm going to put my backslash and my close angle bracket immediately. And we just need to accept that that's the way that's done for the moment and not worry too much about why. And then we go back into our image tag. I'm going to press spacebar and I'm going to say to my computer source src equals. And the computer guesses then. So you can see here it's guessing my source, which is sampleimage.jpg. So I click on that. Now, depending on what you name your image on your device is what it's going to upload as, is what it's going to call it in as here. So this one is called sample image. So I'm going to click on it. And I see here in my preview immediately that I have my image in. Now, a very common mistake that students make is that they spell this here incorrectly. So just make sure it's S or C that you have called in. So source equals. And then call in the picture, whatever the name of it here, sample image.jpg. It has to be exactly correct. And if you're typing that information in instead of using the down arrow or using the mouse to click on it, which I would always recommend, then you just have to be really, really careful that if it's a capital I, for example, here in the middle of that text, that you do that. And if I put in a space here, look what happens. It's gone. You have this error. So you don't want to have that error. So if I press backspace, it has to be exactly the same. So there's no space in here, so there can't be a space here because it has to recognize the exact title. So you have to be really careful. Spaces, capital letters, everything. .jpg, it's all really, really important. But those errors do happen. And when we're loading web pages, we often see that for some reason, if I put the space back in there to show you again, you might get something like this appearing on your web page. It does happen from time to time that content won't load. And if I just show you, you might have seen something like this before, where this image here appears and you can't see what the image is. So what we have in that case is we can do an alternative text. So if this image didn't appear, I could put in an alternative text for the end user, the person looking at the website, to see. So it's called ALT equals. And I'm going to put in my speech marks and I'm going to tell the end user it's a picture of a sunrise. So image of sunrise. So if that doesn't load, then at least my end user can see that it's an image of a sunrise. So for example, if it didn't load, so if I just again put in an error here to see what happens, if I put in a space and I refresh my screen, the text here is telling me image of sunrise should be there. So that picture icon and image of sunrise. So that's telling me what should be there. So if it doesn't load properly, at least my end user, the person viewing the website at the end, will know what should be in that position. So this alternative information, it's called, can be very, very important when you're coding your web page. So I'm just going to fix it because we like to have our image in. The other thing that we could see is maybe I want that picture to be wider, maybe I want it to be taller. They're called attributes. So I can add some attributes to that now as well. So I'm going to press my space bar and I'm going to go height equals, and I need to put in my speech marks again, and I'm going to put in, for example, 400. You can choose whatever size you want. And I'm going to say width. And again, it comes up. You can see the code.org is excellent. It gives me prompts all the time. And that use the prompts, always use them. So you press your down arrow and press enter to select a prompt, or you select it with your mouse. But by using the prompts, it minimizes on spelling mistakes because we are using American spellings as well. So we'll come up against that a little bit later, but just be careful with it. So use the prompts, they're there for a reason. And I'm just going to give it a bit of width. That width isn't enough. I'm going to change it. And maybe I'll make it a little bit smaller, the height. But you can see you can keep playing around with the sizes until you get something that you're happy with in your web page. And then if I just have a quick preview of it, there I have in my web page an image now inserted. I'm going to do that all over again just to make sure that everybody's okay with a new image, and we'll see how it goes. So again, the very first thing you do is you click on this button here to add an image. Now you must have an image downloaded onto your machine. So let's do that. Let's download an image onto our machine. So I'm basically going to go into Google and I'm going to Google images of beaches. I'm going to select my favorite image. It doesn't really matter. This is all just for example. There's a beautiful beach in the Caribbean. Let's go with that. If it opens, and I'm going to right click, save image as. So I just pick on whatever image I want, right click, save image as. So I'm going to save this image to my machine. In here into my pictures folder where I like to save mine, I'm going to give this one a name. And again, you're going to be calling on that name. So I'm going to call this beach in capital letters. Just beach on its own, I think. And I'm going to hit save. Now that's saving to my machine, so it has to be on your local device first. So I'm going to go back to my code.org website, which is here. And now I'm going to try and upload that onto my website. So I need to go to add an image. I'm going to click on upload a file, because I want to put a new file now. And I have this beach image here. So the one with capital letters is the one I just saved a moment ago. I had this one earlier and had all of these images earlier on my machine. This one I saved a moment ago, capital letters beach. So I'm going to open that. Uploading a file, beach.jpg successfully uploaded. So that's great. You can see it there. I'm just going to X out of it now. So you give your computer a moment and you realize that over here, this is after changing again, and there's a new image after being uploaded called beach. These here again is picking out the main colors in your image, which can be good if you're trying to match up colors with your text. Later we'll do colors. So I'm going to go back to my index.html, which is where all my coding takes place for this page. And I'm going to upload my image onto that page now, or embed my image onto that page. So what I need to do again is angle bracket, img for image. My capital letters are on, sorry, it needs to be lowercase, img. Again, I'm going to close it and close my angle. And that's how we do image. It's a little bit different to the other ones. We just need to accept that for the moment. And then we need to call our source, src. Again, be careful of your spelling. Equals. And the computer is going to guess for me. It gives me a list of my files. And I'm going to go with beach this time. It has to match exactly what's, click on it here. If you're typing it in, you have to type it in with capitals and you have to include the .jpg. Or you can just simply click on the word beach. It has to be with exact letters, everything has to be perfect. So you just click on it. By clicking on it, the computer automatically puts in the speech marks for you. You don't need to worry about them. So I would always suggest just clicking on it. It's the safest, easiest thing to do. So that is my beach image. And if I scroll down, I can see it is here under my previous image of my sunrise. So again, if I want to give that image alternative information, so for example, if that image won't load, what will the end user see? So I'm going to go ELT equals, and I'm going to go speech marks, and I'm going to go back and say that I want this image, this is a, and you can type whatever you want in there. It's up to you. You're the creator, you're the coder. Just make it simple, make it something that the end user will understand. I'm just simply putting in this is a picture of a beach. So if it doesn't work, so for example, if I just make it not work for a moment, and it tells me here on my web page, this is a picture of a beach. What should be here is a picture of a beach at least. So I'll just fix it now, and we know what our alternative information is working. The next thing we're going to do is put in attributes, which is our height and our width attribute. So if I type in height equals, and I can give it whatever height I want. So for example, let's go with 500. We have to use speech marks around the 500, and width equals, let's go with 400. And if I scroll down, I can see that that's maybe a bit better. Maybe I want it a little bit wider. If I want it as wide as the top one, let's see what happens. Go to 600. It needs a little bit more. Let's say 620. And now I have it the full width of my web page. Again, if you're not happy with the height, you can look at changing that to maybe 400. Refresh it. And yeah. So now we have two images inserted. We notice that HTML has ignored this break. So there's no gap between them. And HTML does that. It doesn't actually give any spacing or any white around it, with the exception of a little bit above and below a paragraph, which is embedded into it. And the headings, they're also coded into it, but there's no padding around an image. So if we want to have a break between these two images, we have to put in a tag called BR. So I'm going to do that just to show you. So angle bracket BR, close angle bracket. If I scroll down and just refresh it, it's very small. Let's put in another one. It's a line break. Let's see if it, so we're seeing that slowly we're getting a bit more. So I've put in another one. Angle bracket BR, close angle bracket, refresh, scroll down. So you see that gradually you're getting breaks in here. So it's giving a little bit of a line break is what it's known as, a little bit of white space in between the images if you wanted that. So today I've showed you how to put in an image that you have already downloaded on your machine. I then showed you how to download an image and upload that image back onto your HTML code on the second example. And I showed you how to put a break, a line break between images or between anything in the code. I can put a break between my headings if I want, between my paragraph I want, whatever I want to separate with line breaks. I can do that using BR. With the image, I showed you how to call the source. It has to be exactly whatever is matching with the name of your file, and that's so important. And also the alternative ALT equals, so it's your image description. It's whatever you want to appear when you can't see your image. So if your website's not loading, what is the end user going to see in place of that image? If, for example, their internet connection is bad and it won't load the image, loads of reasons why an image description is important. So that's an alternative information. So ALT equals. So that basically is alternative information equals. And you have to, as the coder, decide what that alternative information equals. Then the attributes are height and width that we've looked at today, and they're self-explanatory. So that's all for the moment. Thank you.